Little could one know that the man who once destroyed part of his own country with fire would become Dyrwood's most beloved leader. Martyred in the war he started to free his people from an oppressive rule, there isn't a Dyrwoodan who doesn't know of or revere Admeth for what he did. Strangely, even though there are records of his father Adrain's childhood, and even though he was raised in nobility in the Dyrwood, while it was still Adyr territory, information about Admeth's early years is nearly impossible to find. Admeth is not known for his childhood, though. He is known for saving the Dyrwood and uniting it with its sworn enemy, the Glonfothans. In 2652 AI, the Dyrwoodan troubles with their Fairconing were at a boiling point. Several of the earls under Adrain's rule, provoked by the imperial court in Adyr, resumed looting the ruins around Dyrwood that the Glonfothans held sacred. When the Glonfothans finally retaliated, it was overwhelmingly brutal and resulted in slave uprising. Galvin Regd, whom Adrain had fought before, resumed control of the Glonfothan troops. Regd was also able to convince some Delimgan to join the fight. Adrain was, at this point, far too old to lead his forces into battle, so he sent his son Admeth in his place to contain the threat. Admeth, true to form as the son of Adrain, and obviously having learned tactics from his father, made a dangerous but effective tactical decision. In order to prevent Regd's troops from using the woods as cover and to keep them from advancing through his land, set fire to the forest at the tributary of the Ish-Uar River, and positioned his troops to prevent any of the Glonfothan forces from retreating. This tactic proved to be effective. While some Glonfothans and Delimgan were able to escape, thousands died. In the skirmish that followed, Galvin Regd was captured and sent to be held in New Heomar. Admeth was able to do what his father spent decades trying to do. He stopped Galvin Regd. The conflict with the Glonfothans continued for several months, and Admeth repeated the scorched earth tactics several times to flush the opposing forces from key battlefields. He was able to bring the conflict to an end before the year ended. While it was a win for the Dyrwoodans, it was very costly as well. Because of his tactics, the conflict earned the name the War of the Black Trees. Following Adrain's death in 2654, Admeth became the Gref of the Dyrwood, to the dismay of the imperial court and other earls. Over the course of the next year, they defied his rule at every turn, rebuking his decrees and countermanding his directives. In 2655 AI, Admeth had had enough. Even though he lacked the support from most of the earls, he was admired by both the Vailian dukes and all the common folk. Backed by this support, he issued an ultimatum to the Fairconing to anoint him a Gref Palatine. The Fairconing, unwilling to deal with a rebellion while trying to establish a new Vorlus trade in Raid Ceres, agreed. Admeth then held authority and legal power over the earls, their holdings, and their titles. The Dyrwood was no longer a Grefrum, but instead was a Palatinate. This change reduced the Fairconing's power over the region. With his new power, Admeth quickly brought the rebellious earls into line. But, in exchange for the power, Admeth invested time and money into all of the Dyrwood's ports and trade posts, dramatically increasing shipping traffic. This helped the earls and brought in more money for the Fairconing.